Alrighty fellas, today I got a super fantabulous fun build. Bungie could tell I was bored and tired of running the same thing over and over again. So they had the perfect perks in the new artifact mod to pique my interest. Today we're going over a prismatic titan build that is truly electrifying and that will have you insanely tanky while also dealing a ton of damage. Let's go ahead and cover one of the most underrated auto rifles that helps us run this content like the Navy. The Centrifuse is an exotic art auto rifle that has two of the coolest perks. Up first is Overcharge Capacitor. Sprinting, sliding, and firing this weapon build a temporary electrostatic charge, increasing the range and reload speed. Final blows with a high charge cause explosions, and maximum charge explosions blind targets. An exotic trait on this gun is regenerative motion, so sprinting gradually reloads this weapon. If you know anything about the updated artifact mod, you can already tell what makes this gun so good. But if you don't, we're going to get into that. But building charge is really as easy as it seems. Just move around, whether that be sliding, diving, or just shooting, so you can have an extremely strong blinding explosion with every single kill. And while you're doing all that moving, you'll be regenerating ammo in the process, allowing this gun to be the best run and gun option in Destiny. As you can tell, this exotic is good as can be. Now we just need a good piece of exotic armor to pair with it, and hopefully something that can increase our tankiness. Yeah, it does increase our tankiness. I made the build. I'm sorry. The exotic armor piece is less of an armor piece and more of an armor perk. And that perk is Kinesuguni. What? Kintsugi. Which is the exotic perk from Precious Scars, and will make final blows from this weapon, with the damage type matching your super, create a burst of healing around you that grants you and nearby allies restoration. If you happen to be using the exotic helmet, you will also gain an aura that provides overshield to you and nearby allies after being revived, or after reviving a teammate. And the reason I state if you're using the helmet is because in the background gameplay, I'm actually using the exotic class item with the Kinesuni perk, also known as Spirit of Scars. The reason I decided to use this class item instead of the helmet is because the revive overshield is just not as good as other exotic perks you compare with the class item. In the background gameplay, the other perk I'm using is Spirit of Abiant, which is why I have that boosted Dranger's Lash, but nearly every single perk in that first column is better than that lame revive overshield. I would try to get your hands on a Spirit of Most Light, or Spirit of Abiant, or Spirit of Eternal Warrior. Each one of those is going to be an amazing fit for your other perk on your class item, but then again, just about every single other first column perk is better than that Revive Overshield. Okay, let me stop shit talking Revive Overshield. It does do great in the GM content. It can come in handy, I can't lie. So feel free to use it, but I'm just saying, if you want to suspend the Spirit of Abiant. Okay, that's enough about the equipment for now. Let's go ahead and jump in and talk about our class, our subclass, our classy class. For our super, we went with Thunder Crash. We got a match for the Precious Scars, so our Centrifuse can get us healed, so this is a no-brainer. Your Barricade, you have a little bit of flexibility here. I went with Rally Barricade because I am using a Abiant Leap, but if you're using Spirit of Hoyle, then feel free to use the Thruster. For your melee, you have, again, another option here. Good choices. I find myself using Shield Throw a lot because I like that overshield after hitting an enemy, but Thunderclap is probably the best quote-unquote fit here. And then for your grenade, you're going to want to use the Pulse Grenade. We are using a fragment that's going to boost that, so stick with that. Don't look at anything else. The only aspect I'm making you use is Knockout. Critically wounding their target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attacks with an arc energy and is increasing your melee range and damage for a short period. Defeating targets with melee attacks makes you amplified and restores a portion of your health. This is again a no-brainer. Any melee again is going to pair great with this. We want amplified on command, so Shield Throw again a great pick, but so is Thunderclap. And then for your other aspect, I'll let you have a little bit of creativity. I went with Dranger's Lash because I'm using Spirit of Abiant, of course, but if I had the Heart of a Most Light one, I would have probably went with Consecration or Diamond Lance, but use what fits your playstyle best. Fully preference, Consecration's great, Diamond Lance is great, but so is Dranger's Lash. Okay, that's all for the aspects. Let's talk fragments. First up, we have Facet of Sacrifice. While you have an Arc, Solar, or Void buff, you gain bonus Darkness Transcendence energy. This is going to help us get that darkness bar up. We're not going to be dealing a ton of darkness damage, but we will constantly have an arc buff, so to help us get it quicker when we need it. And then we have Facet of Balance. Rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy. Rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grants grenade energy. Amazing fit here. We're going to be getting 90% of our kills with light damage, so we'll have a ton of melees to be thrown around. Facet of Dominance. Your void grenades weaken targets and your arc grenades jolt targets. Obviously no void grenade here, so I shouldn't even said that, but we do get access to jolt, which is going to help us stun overloads with our grenade, which is an absolutely perfect fit because sometimes overload auto rifles can be a little finicky. For our second to last fragment, we're going with Facet of Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. While transcendent, the effect is increased with plus 10 strength. We like to be alive. You're going to be doing a lot of running and gunning. You're probably going to run into groups of enemies a lot. So it's going to help keep you alive in those instances. Plus, it pairs really well with the artifact mod. And our last facet is Facet of Awakening. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type with plus 10 resilience. This right here is single-handedly going to give us a ton of ionic traces with our mostly going to be crafted from our abilities, but we have another way to create ionic traces with our primary weapon, aka our Centrifuse, so we're going to cover that here in just a second. But as you can see, the build is super fluid. Again, you get 3 options to play around. You can switch that aspect, that melee, or that barricade to play around, but stick with everything else to a T. And let's go ahead and cover the artifact mod while we're talking. For the artifact mod, the only thing in the first column you must use, big shiny, let me get flashing lights. Overload auto rifle. You are wasting your time in this build if you're not using this because it's a free champion mod. It's guaranteed. It's a lock. Just use it. Super easy. And in the second column, we went with authorized charged up mod. This is just going to allow us to get charged up mods for way cheaper, so you can throw a discipline or a strength mod on to fill that extra gap. In the third column, you're going to start with elemental siphon. This will make it so rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super creates an elemental pickup that matches your equipped super. Yes, you're so welcome. Don't thank me. It's just another way to create ionic traces, which is a ton of ability energy on command. And secondly, in the third column, we have sustained fire. Continuously damaging targets with an auto rifle grants you damage resistance. I need hallelujah. I need gospel. I need fucking snaps and claps. This perk is amazing. It's going to grant us so much damage protection on top of just shooting our auto rifle, which you're going to be doing a ton of. Thank you, Part 3, Act 1, or Act 3, Part, whatever the fuck we are. In the fourth column, we're going to start with Radiant Orbs. This will have it so if you have a prismatic subclass equipped, when you pick up an orb of power, it will make you radiant. We take the free radiant all day. We take that weapon damage boost all day. I think it's 15% just from picking up an orb of power. We're going to be generating a ton of these in this build. It is the perfect fit in this build. Next up is Galvanic Armor. While you have an arc or prismatic subclass equipped, incoming damage from combatants is reduced while amplified. We are going to be amplified nearly 24/7 because of our melee kills and just getting kills with arc in general gets you amplified. Perfect, yet another way to give us protection. That's double the protection just from the artifact mod. Chef's kiss, thank you so much. Then our last perk in the fourth column is Targeting Auto Loader. While you have an auto rifle equipped, defeating combatants reloads your equipped weapon and temporarily increases weapon damage. Awards bonus progress when dealing final blows while surrounded. I think Bungie knew Titans were bored. They said those auto rifle shooting need something to do. And they gave us this perk, and I want to cry. This perk right here, Targeting Autoloader and Sustained Fire, pair perfectly together, making for the perfect build, making for this build to be such an amazing time. Thank you, Bungie. Let's talk about the fifth column. We have 2 perks in the fifth column, one of them being Shield Crush, which is while you have a Woven Mail, Frost Armor, or Void Overshield, your melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. And while you're amplified or radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. This perk right here is another reason why it makes me want to use the Void Shield in this build more, because that Void Shield throw gives you that Void Overshield, which is instantly going to start recharging your ability faster, which is perfect. And then while amplified or radiant, your grenade recharges faster. Of course, we're going to be amplified or radiant the whole time from picking up orbs of power, so we'll take the recharge and we'll take the boosted damage. And lastly, Shock and Awe. While you have an arc or prismatic subclass equipped, arc final blows while you're amplified summon a burst of lightning that damage and jolt targets. Holy cow, this is exactly what we wanted. This is like Trinity Ghoul on every single shot of our auto rifle. I don't even know what to say. We're amplified 24/7. Holy shit, this whole build is summed up in this one perk, and we're tanky. Thank you so much. Look, as much as I want you guys to just be turned loose and go have fun, I gotta cover the boring stuff like armor mods. So on our helmet, the only thing I'm requiring is an arc siphon. Feel free to throw on another siphon if you have a kinetic in your first slot. Definitely have the arc siphon. You need to generate those orbs of power. That's going to help us stay radiant. And on our arms, we have heavy-handed and firepower, which is going to allow both of our damaging melees to create orbs of power on kills. Again, staying radiant, staying amplified. I don't need to explain this anymore. On our chest, I decided 3 charged up mods was the perfect amount because we get to hold all the armor charges in the world, which is going to help us with our boots we're going to talk about here in a second. On our boots, we have 3 stacks of arc weapon surge. 2 is a party, 3 is a crowd. We're going to deal so much extra damage. Let me double check how much extra that is. Cue the waiting music. I'm the worst YouTuber ever. I'm so sorry. Thank you guys for loading. That is 22% extra damage while we have any armor charge on us at all. And we're going to have them for a really long time because we can stack them way up with the charged up mods. And they're going to last a while. You know why? Because on our class item, we have timed dilation, which is going to allow our armor charges to have a longer duration, which is about 50% longer. And we also have a bomber and an outreach, so when we use our class ability, we get faster cooldown. Look, and that's going to do you for this build. That is everything you need to absolutely dominate and actually have fun in Destiny for the first time in a long time. You are so welcome. Take this build out, go have fun. Ooh, in your power slot, put a machine gun, retrofit escapade. You can use any machine gun, I don't care. Use it, it feels amazing. Because you're going to be so used to holding down the trigger with Centrifuse, get used to holding it down in your power weapon slot too. This video is a little different, as you can tell. The audio probably sounds a little funky. I probably sound a little more rampant. It's mostly because I didn't feel like posting a video this week. I didn't feel like posting a video for the last month because I've been so bored of Destiny. But I decided going a little bit off the cuff would allow me to have a little more fun. You guys tell me how that felt for you. If you're like, dude, please read the script and shut the fuck up, so be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. That's really sweet of you. Okay, that's it. Okay.